Hello, today we are going to grease the bearings in the front tire of a scooter, and in this video I will show you how! Well, hello and welcome. Today we are going to give a little grease to the front bearing inside your wheel of your scooter. Now this one is going to help your scooter to move a lot better. Unfortunately, sometimes when you leave your scooter sitting for a long time, the grease that is inside the bearing will become a little harder. So at that point you have to clean the bearing and put some new grease on there. That's very important. Now this job will take you like about 30 minutes and with just few little tools. And right now I can show you how to do it. Okay, one of the first things you should do is to put your scooter on a center stand. You don't want this scooter going anywhere and moving too much. Now the problem is because you're going to remove this front tire, the weight is going to be changed a little bit. So you don't want this scooter to go back or forth when you really do this job. So find a brake or something that is thick enough, around 8 inches long, to put underneath your scooter and kind of build on the front of your scooter. So the scooter is not going to go anywhere when you're going to work with the scooter. Just try and see to push down if the scooter is going somewhere, okay? A little bit is okay, but make sure your scooter is not going to go forward or back. It has to be stable. So after you place a brake or something underneath here, you're going to need a 17 millimeter right here. You can use a socket, or you can use a key, or you can use something like this. Now to remove this tire, make sure you put it on the side. And you're gonna use an impact wrench. The impact wrench is always really good because it's going to help you a lot. It's going to be a faster job to do that. So to remove it, right here, you can place this one right here. You make sure you turn in left, not right, okay? Okay, right after that you lose a little bit this one, you're gonna grab on the other side this bolt right here, so you can unscrew this one at the same time. What you're gonna do, you're gonna stop in the other side the bolt for turning, okay? You don't want this one turning and the other one is gonna turn at the same time. So you just hold one bolt on the other side right here with the key, something like that. Or you can hold the one on the right side and remove the one on the left with an impact wrench. And that will be a lot faster, because you're going to remove this part right here and holding this one right here at the same time, okay? Okay, right after you remove the nut right here, what you're going to do, you need to have like a long screwdriver. So you're gonna point right here the screwdriver in the center of this bar, and you're gonna push this bar on the other side. Right here you're gonna place like a long screwdriver right in the center of this bar, and you have like a rubber mallet that you can use to push that little bar that is in the front. The axle, okay? That is gonna be right there. So at this point you're going to have this one on the other side. By pulling the tire up a little bit, you're going to be able to remove this bar right here, okay? So this one is the large bar. Just pull the tire up. Right after you remove the tire, you're gonna have one spacer on the right side right here. That's the spacer you have on the right side of your tire. Then you're gonna put it on the side. Then you have to make sure you're gonna put it back later. Now right after, on the right side, you have the odometer right there. There's the connection of the wire, okay? That will be on the right side. Okay, right here you're gonna pull this tire forward. Just pull the tire forward, not on the side way, because if you pull it out on the side way, you might damage the rotor right here of the tire. So you don't want to damage this rotor right here. Okay? Okay, at this point you have your tire right here. Now right now we're gonna do one thing at a time. We're just gonna do one side. Then we're gonna remove this little rubber seal right here. And right here there is another rubber seal. So you can see the little bearing right here. See? This little bearing is slightly dry. Okay? So you want to clean a little bit as much as you can. You can get a piece of paper and clean this part right here. See those bearings? Clean them as much as you can. You can use a little brake cleaner to clean these bearings. After that, myself, I like to put a little bit of a silicone product right here for this bearing. And let the bearing soak for a little bit, okay? Right here. You want this bearing to be nice and soaked with the silicone product, because they have to come back to life. You know, sometimes those bearings, they've been sitting for a long time, they need to be back to life. And they cannot be stuck. You know, if they're stuck, that's the big problem. You know, you want to make sure they're turning freely. Lots of parts of your scooter that they're moving, they need to have a little bit of grease. Okay, so remember, everything that moves, because if you don't have any grease or anything that is going to help that part to move, that part will wear out a lot faster. Now you can change those bearings too. You can place some new ones if you want to. But if you can get these bearings back to life without, you know, changing them, that's great. But if you hear a little crackling noise when you turn them, that means that these bearings are not good anymore. Okay? And they're not too expensive to change. It's maybe like $5 each one, you know, something like that. So not really too expensive. Now, right after you place the silicone, I like to place this one, all-purpose grease, you know. And this grease is just going to be gentle, and you're going to put it right here. Okay, to make this little bearing very happy. You know, you want to make this grease right here, and you want to make the little bearing super happy about that. And you know what you're going to do? You're just going to take the little picker that you're right here, and you just turn this one around. You want to make sure that this goes around a little bit, okay? Now, don't put too much, because later if you put too much, they might come out from this little part and they're going to go in your rotor or your brake or your brake pad, and that point is not going to be good. Okay, right after you put the little grease right here, you're able to put this one right here to close the little bearing on top. Okay, right after you close the little bearing, you put the little seal that is on top right here. Now do one side at a time, okay? Do not rush yourself and do one side at a time. When you're here, make sure everything is clean and make sure you don't leave too much grease on the rotor right here. You want to clean everything up, okay? Everything has to be nice and clean. Right here. At the same time, when you're here, make an inspection of your rotor, okay? Because you're here, you want to see that the rotor is perfect, okay? Doesn't have too many, you know, grooves, okay? Okay, after cleaning this one, you can go to the other side and you can turn your tire to the other side. Now right here on the other side, we're going to do the same thing. Now here you have to move this part right here, and it's part of the cable, okay, that goes to your, you know, gauge right here to tell you the speed. And right here you put it on the side, okay? Now right here, if you see, this kind of like grease that is here, it's kind of jelloish. When it becomes jelloish, it's not good anymore. So it needs to be greasy, not jelloish. Right here, you're going to remove this plastic part right here, and you're going to put it on the side for later. Now inside here, if you look at the grease, it's very jelly. You don't want jelly grease. You want nice and juicy and fluent kind of like a grease, okay, that's going to help your tire. and your bearings, okay? So make sure you clean everything very good. Okay. Now, right after you clean a little bit, you can spray a little bit of a brake cleaner right here. So it's going to take away some of the extra jelly grease that is in there. And now you let it relax a little bit, a little rest for a few seconds. And at the same time, you're gonna turn right here. And you wanna make sure that all the dirt and the old grease will come out. If you see that some old grease, what you're gonna do, you just get this grease out with a little picker or with a little small screwdriver, and you're gonna get this grease out, okay? Now you wanna make sure that this one get cleaned very good. Okay, right here, see the grease comes out, the old grease, and you don't want that, you know? You just kinda clean that part right there. A little by little, you're gonna see that this kind of bearing is gonna come back to life, you know? If you clean a little more, you make sure it's nice and clean, this bearing will come back to life. If it's not broken, because sometimes there is possibility that these bearings are broken. If they're broken, you might have to change them. Okay, right after a little bit, right here, this one is a WD-40 silicone. This one is a waterproof product that is going to last a long time. Now, this one is just for an immediate revival of the little bearing. So what you're going to do, you're just going to spray, and then you're going to turn this one. You turn it for about 2 minutes, and you make sure that this bearing is going to be live again. At that point, what you can do, you're going to put some grease, okay? That will be like a all-purpose grease right here. You can use this one, or you can use the white one. That will be like a lithium grease. That's a good one too. But this one, they're good too. I like this one. And you make sure you're pretty generous with that, but not too generous, okay? Because if you're too generous, you're gonna have some problems. Because the little bearings is gonna get the stuff out. If it's got too much grease, will come out. And there is a possibility that the little grease that you have, extra grease that you have, is going to go where it's not supposed to go, like in your brakes. Okay, make sure you clean very nicely, okay? Everything has to be nice and clean. Since you're here, since you have the tire out, make sure you clean everything. Now, when you place the grease, just turn a little bit, right here. See, the more juice right here you place and you turn around, the little bearing is going to be better for the little turning motion that it's going to have. Now, make sure you clean the extra that you have right here, because you don't want to have too much, okay? You want to have just the right amount of the grease. Okay, right after, you can close this part right here with this little top, okay? Make sure right here is nice and clean, and you don't have too much of this little extra grease right here. Okay, right after you do that, you're ready to place this part right here. That will be the part of your gauge, okay, for the speed. Now here you have some grease, and you should put some little extra grease on this part right here, because this part, the little part is going to stick when you're going to place this wheel in the scooter again. That's a little trick, okay? But you don't want to put too much. If you put too much, this part will fly away, or this part will spread the grease a little too much everywhere. So make sure you put a little amount right here. Okay, right after you place the grease on both bearings right here, and on the other side you should place a little spacer right here. Now, to put this tire back in is going to be a little work, because you have to combine the brakes, and on the other side you have to combine the connection right here for your gauge cluster, okay? So that's for the speed. Right here you have to put the tires a little bit down to go inside, right? Now you have to check the space that you have right there on that side of the brakes, between the brake pad. You have to check the space that you have. So use your eyes to check the space that you have. Now you can remove the caliper if you want to, that's easier. Or you just little by little make this rotor goes inside the little pads. Now right here we have the cable for this odometer, and you put it right here. Now be ready to put this one in. Get this tire a little higher and make sure the spacer will combine to the other side. So right here. Now try the tire if it's gonna be a little more free than before. It should be a lot free. It's gonna be a lot better than before for sure. Okay, right after you place the axle right inside of your wheel, you're ready to place the nut right here on the other side. Okay, this one is a 17mm. Right here, when you're putting this nut right here, you do it by hand at the beginning to make sure the nut is going to go the right way. It's not going to go on a side way. Right after you do that, so you need to have a key on the other side that is not going to make this one move. This one is a 40mm right here. You're going to keep this one here, and on the other side you're going to use a impact wrench. Make sure it didn't left any grease around here, okay? Any grease, any brake cleaner right here. Make sure you clean it. Very good. Wherever you see any grease, spray this brake cleaner. See, it's dangerous to have any kind of grease around your tire and your brakes. So, if just in case you're gonna need the brakes and these brakes are not working, you're going to have a problem. So, make sure you clean everything really good. Now for a lot of you, this one's like a winter job you can do, you know, because a lot of you up north, you're not riding your scooter, so you can keep up with the maintenance and bring your scooter to a high standard scooter, you know, really clean, and you want to make sure that everything's going to run the right way when you're going to run your scooter again on the street in the spring. Okay, make sure everything looks nice and clean. Now make sure also that your wheel doesn't do this movement. It has to be stable, your wheel, okay? The more stable your wheel is better it is for you. You're not going to lose the control of your scooter. Okay, look like we did a good job. The tire is turning freely. Okay. Well, okay, we just finished to give a little grease to the front bearing inside the wheel of your scooter. I'd like to thank you very much for watching my video. I hope you enjoy. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Click the like button, subscribe to my channel anytime, and thank you!